So let's just start to glide forward. Inhale, let the chest and exhale round. And check out the flexion extension of the spine. And remember, as before, you can draw yourself forward using your psoas muscles and your core. Uddiyana Bandha, inhale, and exhale as you expel the breath, either silently or with a big. You can tone the muscles of the pelvic floor. Any sort of games you want to play as you go back and forth, depending on your state of awakeness. So you can be playing very small. Maybe you've been up for a few hours, and you can launch into a bow pose in the transition. But we'll start to move the lower and the upper bodies. You'll feel the shoulder blades come into retraction or close to one another. As you inhale, they pin together, particularly the bottom tips, and then exhale, protraction. Again, kind of a reprise of what we've been doing. Can we bring the arms into it a little bit? And inhale, launch the arms up into a yoga pose known as Baddha Hastasana, or bound arms. And then exhale, flexion, pulling the fingers against one another, dropping the head, and moving the shoulder blades apart. So now just start to move. Bring the arms into the picture, but not too much, not at the cost of the loss of the spine movement. And depending again on your time zone, maybe this back bend takes the head up, maybe not, and exhale. But bring the breath into the bellows of the body. And then. And then let's sit and bring the palms to the heart. Do our due diligence in yoga, take a om to sound through the body. Take a sounding. Big inhale. Release the hands and the eyes. So let's start to lean over to the left. Bring the right arm up. Inhale. And exhale, come back to center. Right hand down, left arm up. Inhale, C shape. And release. And just start to go into waves. Now the arms are opening. But let the lower body and the C curving of the downside ribs gently open the upside ribs. So again, if you've been coming to class, most of you have, you know that anything high up needs to first be prepped with what lies below it. In this case, the rib cage and the muscles of the posterior serratus. And then let's briefly come to center, open the legs, and take the knees to the left. And then throwing the discus right arm up, inhale, all the way around to the floor, exhale, sink for a few breaths. Come down to your forearms, straight arms. Drop the head. And then inhale, come up, knees come to center, drop the knees to the right, left arm comes up and over, and drop it. Inhale, come up, and then either sitting in your chair or coming back to Sukhasana. So let's do a headstand. Everyone can do that, right? Okay. This is the advanced headstand where you clasp your fingers and put them on top of your head. it's superior to what those other people do. So what are we doing here? We're starting to see how the fronts of the shoulders are, the subscapularis and the armpits. And is the spine, can the spine be naturally tall here? And can you inhale, look up a little bit and open these subscaps in the armpits? And you feel that little stretch. And exhale, just gently round. So just let the hands rest on the back of the skull cap. And gently push back into the hands, inhale, opening the front line, collarbones spread wide like a cobra. Ah, and exhale, drop down. Just let the hips come into the picture, and you could be in a chair. And now take a peek, say inhale, and then start to twist over to the left. And exhale, come back to center. Inhale, lift, and then a little twist to the right and release. Same thing, inhale, push back a little, lift the chest, and then rotation over to the left, exhale. And just start to move, and you can press back into the hands. Thumbs are in the back of the skull. One more each side, and then as we go to the left, inhale. Let's take the right hand over to the left knee and see if we can spend a few quality breaths here. If you nod your chin forward and take your left hand to the back of the skull a little bit more, and then just don't force it. Just lean back into this subscap. And then put your head in a neutral position. Release the left fingers behind you and take a normal twist, waiting or finding weight in left sit bone. And then keep your twist with the right hand, but lift the left arm up and then lean over, exhale. Now you could also grab the top of your skull and right over hooking the left fingers in the right side of the skull and just stretch that upper arm a little more. So here's the subscap and up in the lat muscle and the tricep getting a little bit more stretch without forcing it. Inhale, come back up and reach to the sky and then turn the light bulb, so spin the left palm in, come diagonally across, and the right arm comes up. You can't get your arms crossed, just take them to the shoulders, inhale, lift, hips rock forward, and exhale back. Whole thing could be done in a chair. So now we're really working the rhomboids between the shoulder blades, and the shoulder blades are in protraction as we dive down and around, and they try to retract even though it's hard as before as you come up. One more. And then release. And we switch across to the legs and go to the other side. So here's our headstand. So headstand, one of these mornings I'll give a class on it, but it's really an extension or the thought of extending the top of the skull up to the sky, like someone pulling you by a string. But there's all sorts of obstacles in the way, including what's going on in the chest. So if we inhale, start to glide over to the right, exhale to center, inhale, and you'll just feel probably the armpit stretch. And then we go to the right and take the left hand to the right knee, nod the chin forward, just slide the right hand behind the skull a little bit more, or down the skull, and then lean back into it and breathe. Remember to add the breath, because if you're holding your breath, then your body will just hold rigidly. So find that edge where you can breathe and open the body. Ah, And then nod the chin forward again. Take the hand behind your head, behind you. Right fingertips tense on the floor. And then put a little weight in that right sit bone so that sit bones are even. Now we have a traditional twist. Come back to center, let's switch. Maybe take a little boat intermission just to engage the core. So we worked from the top, but can we work now if we take the hands behind or just to the top, a little bit back, inhale, and then take the right hand behind the back. So the back of the right hand is in that left kidney. Inhale, open the chest. Exhale, spiral to the left. Now as you inhale, see if you can just glide that right hand up the left ribs. So if it's too hard to keep your left hand behind your head, take it behind you like we did before. And now you can see what I'm doing. I'm using my right hand to assist. Did this last Friday to lift up those left back ribs. And then come across into our twist again and bow your head down. Okay, let's switch. Simple stuff. Not so simple actually, but so up, we're lifting up, and then can we take the right hand behind the back, almost like a arm lock, and the back of the hand is just gliding across the fascia of the right low ribs, and then spiral. So the spiral now is being lifted a little more, and you can keep that hand behind the head. If it's too much, take it to the floor and just use the back of that left hand to lift up. And then counter rotation and round. One more time. So can we just do it with the back arm and the right hand back to the left ribs? And you can put the left hand on the ground this time. And then just like you're sliding the back of that right hand up. And it's helping like a dance partner. Maybe you look up. And then counter rotation round. And we can even scrub that back. Come back to center. Let's take that left hand around. And it's lifting up the right ribs. Opens up that whole right shoulder. Maybe the head comes up. And then counter rotation, wrap across, round. So this is where we've been digging into here. But let's go down, and if your hands couldn't get to the back so well, you can use your towel roll as usual. And let's take it longitudinally to assist through the spine. Let's take the knees and bend them, the arms out to the sides. So remember how I started. And when we played the Hindu goddess game. So as you inhale, can you look toward your right palm and lift the pinky finger up off the ground and the shoulder rolls back. Exhale, come to center. Inhale, look to the left, pinky finger comes up, the palm is facing behind you. Exhale to center. And just repeat. Inhale, rotation. Exhale, come to center. Now you can add the other arm. So as you look right and spiral externally, the right arm, the left palm can go down, push into the ground. Come back to center. Inhale. It's like using the arms like a washcloth. And look left. Left palm is to the sky, maybe rotating to the floor beyond you. Right palm is down. And just start to squeegee. So you may not have much movement, but now let's try Bring the legs in, so lay the arms easy, palms to the sky, inhale. And exhale, drop the knees over to the left. And then let the head glide toward that right palm. And inhale, start to lift the palm and rotate it behind you. Extra rotation. And come back to center, exhale. Inhale, feel the bolster, exhale, knees drop right, keeping the feet wide. The head casually glide to the left arm. And inhale again, feel the whole left rib cage. Spiral the left palm, the floor behind you. Maybe pushing the back of the head back into the towel. And then release, come to center. So now you're off and running, and you can do the whole thing in one motion. Inhale, knees drop left, head rolls right, right palm spirals behind you. Exhale to center. Inhale, knees drop right, head rolls left, left arm external rotation, and go back to center. So this is totally confusing you. Come up and just take a peek. And if you are in heaven, then, and it's easy, you can bring the other arm rotation into it. So the hand you're looking at, palm is lifting and rolling behind you, and the other palm is pushing down into the ground. Go easy, and it's all happening on the inhale pattern. Exhale releases you back to the center line. So we're just doing a similar operation to what we did seated, but a little more use of gravity in the towel roll. Okay, so let's roll off to one side for the moment. Reach back, take the towel roll off. The spine, take it into your hands. And stretch your legs long. If you're too near the wall, you can waggle yourself back. And take your towel roll up to the sky. And inhale, glide it back to the floor beyond you. And exhale back up to the sky. And just start to prep the arms. As you inhale back to the floor, see if you can keep the towel there and lift the low back without lifting the hips up like a big yawn. Maybe open your mouth. And then exhale, knit the frontal ribs together, flatten the low back to the ground, bring the towel up. Just do this a few times. Inhale, arch. So we're in extension. And the widely spaced arms on the towel roll should be opening those armpit ribs again, the subscaps. And can you feel your shoulder blades come into retraction as you take this back bend, this mild back bend, and then can you feel them in a little bit of protraction as you come up to the sky? Remember, retraction, the shoulder blades slide together down the back. Maybe you're pushing back into the back of the skull, toning the legs. Exhale, come up. Advanced students, if you want, you can do the yoga sit-up. Next time you come up with the towel, you curl your head, tone your core, and then you go back down. So that's for the people that have been up for hours or have done a lot of yoga and are ready for that. Otherwise, let's bend the knees. Take the towel roll up and just make circles and feel the ground and the shoulder blades tracking and getting a little massage. Different directions, and then keep the towel roll up, pull the shins up to parallel to the ground so the feet are off the ground. Inhale, and exhale, drop the knees to the left, the towel a little bit to the right. A little core work from the center, knees one way, arms the other. Just start to make any motions that feel good. If you want to get creative, you can circle the arms instead of just staying in the lateral. So we have the arm circles to the counterweighted legs. And you can see what I'm doing to play. Let's come back down to center. And can you flip the towel roll over the knees? Put the feet down and hold the ends of the towel and lift the hips up to bridge variation. And you have a gentle push of the back of the head into the ground. Shoulder blades try to track apart in the upper part of the shoulder blade and retract to go in the lower shoulder blade tip. Moving toward the tailbone moving toward the knees. And then come down. And from here, let's go ahead and take the towel roll aside, pull the left knee into both hands, extend the right leg forward. You have the wall, and you can push into the wall fine. Little circles with your left knee. You hold it. And then switch to the right leg. Hold the right knee. And just make little circles each direction. And then pull both knees in and gently squeeze the knees toward your shoulders. Your tailbone round off the mat as you inhale. Exhale, lower the knees away. Just start to work the low back. Let's put the feet down once again. And take the arms by the hips. Bridge pose without the towel roll assist. So the palms are up to the sky and they open the chest. Inhale, exhale, hips lift up. Move the tailbone forward toward the knees. And then coming down and sliding your legs long. Take a few breaths here just to feel the back body release. I'm going to grab some water and we'll move on to even more excitement. So let's go ahead and roll off to one side and come up to standing. And now we're going to go to the wall. And hopefully you have a wall. And we've done this before. Your feet are about a foot from the wall. And you reach up the wall and look up. Inhale, lift your heels up off the ground and lift the chest. Exhale, start to sink down to chair pose. And drop the head forward and breathe. So just keep sliding the tailbone down, maybe even nod the chin toward the uplifted chest. Let's try it again. Inhale, crawl the wall, lift your heels up. Exhale, slide down, drop the head, and slide the tailbone down. You can even put your forehead against the wall. Just do this a few times. You can go fast or slow. Toning the legs. And if you wanted to take a peek, what I'm doing is learning how to lift. We had our hands last week and today from these posterior serratus to help that quest. And then as we go down, we're dropping the fascia of the low back. So if you have low back issues, you could just calm down your low back. A couple more times, up you go, and down you go. Now the next time you go up, look up and spin your left palm back away from the wall. And then let's start to step the feet away from the direction of the wall, so we're sideways. So inhale, we're going to slide up the wall and slide into the wall with the hips. Exhale, press the palm into the wall, come back to neutral. Inhale, rotate. I'm out of screen and rolling palm toward me. And then leaning into the wall on the exhale this time. You get your hips right to the wall. Maybe that upper hand, as we did earlier, captures the side of the skull. And then push into the wall, the back of the hand, inhale, and release. Come back to center. Lift, inhale, spiral the right hand inward. So I'm taking the right hand so the palm faces me. And it's actually external rotation. Now we're going to turn our feet to the left. Inhale, slide the arm up the wall. And exhale, lay the right hip into the wall. Try it again, inhale. You can even lift your heels up if you want, and then put them down. And lean into the wall. So now we're working on the lateral body, and we lean the right hip into the wall, and we maybe take the right fingers to the side of the skull. Tricep, subscap. So you're going to do the same thing each time, but advanced students might be able to move into Gomukhasana. You can go up and down a few times, and then you go up, you rotate the left hand, you turn the feet to the right and lean, and this time, beginners go here, but advanced students can take the left elbow, bend it, nod the chin forward, and take the forearm, left forearm behind the head, and then lean into the wall. And you can press the back of the head into the wall. And then if you're even more advanced, come away from the wall. Remember how we took the back of the right hand. Everybody can do this actually, even if you're still up here. We're going to glide that back of that right hand up those left ribs. Ah, ha, ha. Right? Ah, feels good. And then lean into the wall. And you could get your arm bind here from that simple action. And then you can start to lean to the right. Beginners, you can just stay as we did before, here or here. Those who have the wrap, though, now have the arms bound and take a side bend. Okay, let's try the other side. Again, you start with the simple or move to the advanced. Lift up, come down, lift up, come down. Lift up, spiral the right palm toward you. Tippy toe the feet to the left. Again, you can just lean into the wall of the hip and let the head drop away. Or you take the head forward, chin to chest, and bend the right forearm behind the head. And you can glide the back of the left hand in this fascia. You can see the back view. Up above the kidney of the right side of the body, back side of the body, just kind of stroke that up, lean into it. You might be able to get the hand all the way up and clasp. You can work against the wall. You can work away from the wall. But we've opened up the ribs first. Anything that feels good along those lines. Okay, we take a forward fold either into the wall or not. So if you're new to the class, you walk away from the wall. If you have it, then you bend your knees and
See if you can take your head against the back of the head against the wall, maybe the back, and then just walk in and plaster as much of the back, that mid-back, into the wall as you can, bending the knees. And lift and lower the heels as well to scratch your back and take more of the back deeper down into forward fold. I like to lift the heels and push into the wall with my spine and then release it. Give yourself a little back rub. You can pump with the hands into the floor. Go easy. And then when you come away, walk away. And come up with a rounded spine.
And standing. How's it going? Can we play traffic cop now with the left hand against the wall? And then bend that left elbow, do a little push-up. And just do this a little bit. Co-contraction. So you have to fire the muscles and strengthen them as while you're stretching. And then let's step the left foot forward and turn the left fingers back. And come into like a mild warrior one. That left elbow a little bent, like when we're against the wall. Now you can stay here, but you could try to take the back of that right hand to your lower left rib to just give it a lift. And then maybe you can take your hand behind your back, take it to the wall, and then drop the head. Good. Let's come up, try the other side. Traffic cop, right arm, feet together. Just push into the wall. Then we're going to step forward with the right foot. Turn the right fingers back. Bend the right knee. Sink down in very mild warrior one. Alter your position to the wall as necessary. And then can you thread the back of the left hand? If you give yourself a little back rub. And just lift up through the right rib. See what I'm doing with my hand like that? How we got into a back bend last week. But then the reverse pattern, take the hand from behind your back and just lean into the wall. I think we're going to do some push-ups here. So far, so good. Can we just make this a little more organic and just swing the body like this to feel these shoulder capsules and ribs getting tapped a little with the back hand? So a lot of this is just kinesthetic awareness. See what I'm doing in the back hand? Okay, let's go to the wall and take our hands about shoulder width, step back, bend our knees like a ski jumper. Inhale, look toward the palms, and then exhale, bisect the head between the arms, straighten the legs, look at your toes, and fire up your quads. Inhale, bend your knees, look toward your hands, have a sense of moving the upper arm bones apart, and exhale, press, wall dog. Don't go too far down with the hands. In the past, we've walked down to deeper downward dogs. You can, but we're going to come back up in a moment. So just start to do this movement. And I've got my hands above my shoulders here. And then the next time you inhale, look toward your hands, can you straighten your legs and start to do a push-up into the wall? Just half bend the elbows and think of pulling the inner elbows together to work the pecs. And then watch, we're going to lift the heels, look up. Here's our cobra pose. Ah. And we're tightening the backs of the legs. And then we have downward dog transition. Okay, so make your hands comfortable wherever they feel good, but slightly above the shoulders. Inhale, bend the knees, look toward the palms. Exhale, straighten the legs. Start to do a little dip into the wall. So this is a strength move. This is your Chaturanga Dandasana. So safe here for most people. Hug like you've got a medicine ball between the inner elbows. Then we start to lift the heels, straighten the arms, look up, and then downward dog. One more, bend the knees, look up, launch the legs to straight, bend the elbows, keep the backs of the legs toned. Chaturanga, so this is a strength move. So maybe you can do normal chaturangas, but I bet you can't hold it as long as this. So this is nice because I'm not in too much danger now. To come up to cobra, I'm not going to trash my shoulder capsules. Oh. Downward dog. Let's walk the hands down the wall, forward fold. Come up through chair, inhale, exhale, standing. Let's move on, and we're going to take our same position, dip, and then downward dog. Now, walk the hands a little lower and see if you can take three-legged dog. So now we're going to glide that right leg back. Inhale, looking down. Exhale, we do a chaturanga, but we pull the knee to nose. Okay, we've done this on the mat, but against the wall, it's again safer. I can feel this squeezing of the anterior serratus. And now I tone the back of the leg and just move to your degree. Then we're going to step that right foot toward the wall, turn the left toes out of it, and come into warrior one. Crawl the hands up just above the shoulders and push into the wall, but also move the chest open by slightly bending the elbows and pushing the upper arm bones apart. And what's going on back here? Is this lifting? As the tailbone drops? You can even put the right knee really close to the wall, but keep a little energy in the right heel. Okay? So you can take the full pose if you want. Then place the palms down and straighten the front leg, lift the toes, and just bring the right foot to the left, feet's parallel, drop back into your downward dog, your version of it. You can walk the hands down if you want and take a lower orientation. You're getting some nice strength work as you push into the wall and you tone your legs. Feet a little closer. Can you glide the left leg back, toning the back of the leg? Inhale. Exhale, look forward. Bend the elbows, knee to nose, and back and forth. And back and forth. One more, and then we look forward, step the left foot, the toes to the wall, turn the right toes out, warrior one, walk the hands up. Not too high, so I'm pushing into the wall to spread open the collarbones, sinking the hips down. And you can go as low as you want, but keep a little bit of push into that left heel. And then maybe you take the full pose. Hands to the wall here, in front of the shoulders, straighten the front leg, look down, and lift those left toes. Okay, let's step the feet together. Hands can go down. Slightly bend the knees, kick the butt back, and then downward dog against the wall. Feet together, right leg lifts and heel, knee to nose, 3 times again. Third time, knee comes up, look forward, step. This time, bring the hands up to about shoulder or slightly wider, and turn the left toes even more to the left. Come into warrior 2. You can slide that back leg back a little. Look at that right hand, it's against the wall. And you can even do your little strengthening co-contraction here. But then we're going to take the left hand behind the right ribs and reverse warrior. So using the back of that left hand to lift up the right ribs. Then we come into side angles we've done many times, which is the counter move we've been playing with all class. You take the right forearm down, or if you need to go to the ground, you can use the head against the wall. And I unleash that left arm up and over to the wall. I can push it to the wall, I can look downward, and now I have the counter move to the chronic pattern. Reaching up, straighten the front legs. Take the hands to the hips. So hopefully you're seeing how the shoulders and the hands and the back ribs, this is an extension of the work we did last week. So try this. Now we're going to take that right hand behind the back, like I'm shaking my hand. Some of you can't get that far, it's okay. But you're going to now use that right hand to open up the left ribs as you take your left fingers away from the wall and you look at them. And both legs are straight now as you come into the triangle. So now I'm really trying to open the left ribs. Look toward the left hand as you start to hinge the right hip. And eventually take the hand behind your back to your right shin. Keep that lifting action on the left ribs as you look up toward your left hand. Come up and bring the feet to parallel forward fold. Hands to ground. Drop in, take your wide-legged forward fold. You can soften your knees if you want. Unwind in symmetry. Let's come up and try the other side. Hopefully you're having fun. So wall dog, again, I step away from the wall. That's where it all starts. And if you've never worked with a wall, it's wonderful. Strengthening the shoulders, shoulder capsules, without the danger to come into wall dog of destroying your shoulder capsules. So feet a little closer and left leg lifts. Inhale, keep the hips square. Exhale, knee to nose. And I wrap the armpit ribs toward one another. Extension and wrap. And then I launch forward to warrior 1, left toes to the wall, and I start to pivot that right foot out. I can slide it back, but I've still got the left hand against the wall, so I can keep that strength in the extensors. Then, can you get that right hand behind you and start to glide the left ribs up in reverse warrior. The back hand is your yoga teacher. And then you come into side angle. The reverse pattern, start to roll the head down. Release that right arm to the wall and push. Pushing weight into the back foot. This is really the same move we did originally in class when you were sitting down Took the knees to the right and asked you to rotate and throw the discus. Inhale, come up and try triangle pose. And the other ribs are going to be open. So the right hand, spread the fingers. Left hand behind your back and just lift up those right ribs. And we come into it in a reverse pattern. Spin the palm to the sky. And we start to hinge. You can bend the left knee, hinge at the waist, but we're lifting up the right ribs. And then the left hand glides to the shin. And we keep our prana, our lift in that right rib cage. So everything's light, not piling down to the ground. Inhale, come up, feet to parallel, and soften the knees, take a forward fold. Hands to earth, flat back, and then hands to hips. Inhale, come up. Really good. So let's get the feet together. Let's have a seat and straighten the legs, facing away from the wall. And there's a few more things we can do just to work on shoulders. So Dandasana is an old familiar pattern, this time using the hands and the arms to externally rotate. So hopefully if you're a beginner, you're starting to learn the external rotation and the internal rotation. It gets a little tricky when the arms move around. And then we reach up and fold. We can grab a strap or just take the hands to the feet. Inhale, flat back, knees can be bent. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come up. And let's pull the left foot into the right leg. So either using the strap around the right foot, like so, or taking the big toe with the first two fingers to the right hand. So let's take first our right hand, either first two fingers to big toe or grab the strap and start to rotate to the left. And we did this last week. So what's going on here with the ribs? Well, you could take the left hand to the right ribs and glide it open again as you look away. And can you bend that right elbow down and lean a little bit forward? And then maybe you can reach up and over and grab either the strap or front toes. Or you're just here. And then inhale, come up, let's switch. So having these opening maneuvers allows you to get into yoga poses. And the left leg is forward, we've got the strap taken in both ends in the left hand, our fingers back, and rotation. So some of you could take the back of your right hand and just upstroke, upslide the left ribs. And then if you lean forward a little bit, others could get the left elbow down to the ground and swing the right arm forward to join it. And then come up. Really good. Straighten the legs. We'll start to head toward the close. And let's just take a figure four, right? Shin across the left, take the fingers out to the sides of the chest. And then you could clasp some of you, or just hold the foot and the knee. Others slide the front leg and dive into a deeper
permutation.
And let's switch sides. Put the right foot down, left ankle across, hands back, lift. And you're lifting from those back ribs. External rotation, and then down. Whether breathe, and stay here, it's your happy place. Slide the right leg, fold. Inhale, come up. Very good, so let's go down, glide our hips forward, and start to close off. And I want to do one more thing. Now, those of you that have the Gomukhasana ability, you don't need to do what I'm going to show people on their backs. You can just come into, take the right knee down, the left knee over. I'm just going to show this. It's for the advanced folks. And just to show you the craziness of the full yoga pose. And then we do our Hindu goddess, and we've got this strange pose, which we can bow into, we can extend out of. For most mortals, it's not possible. If it is for you, then go right into it. The rest of us are going to do something on the ground. And it will require a strap. So, here we go. Down onto the back. We're going to try to cross the knees, right over left. And first just hold the shins. So you've got your right knee you're looking at, you're holding your left shin. That could be it. But if you can, take a peek. You're going to take the strap around the feet, fishtail them out, and just pull gently the whole package down toward me. That's your pose, or your variation. Then you cross the left knee over the right, and you pull the right shin toward you. And you hook the strap around the feet, fishtail the feet out, and just draw down. So you can play with that again, but when you're ready, we'll come into extending legs and the arms and just allowing the limbs to relax for a minute in Shavasana. Any last postures you want, you can take them, but let's take at least a full minute or two in Shavasana, unless you're inverting. And then we'll close off our session today. So begin to come back and bend your knees, roll to one side, come up to seated, and sit comfortably. As usual, anchor the lower body, and the belly is now soft. Bring the palms to the heart. So when the thumbs are on the sternum, and they're gently lifting the sternum, gliding it up. And can you feel how that little lift of the sternum then allows you to exhale, release the shoulders back. In the same way, I used the strap configuration earlier in class to gently roll the shoulders back and allow the shoulder blades to settle like folded wings. The head comes down as well, and so that any fuzziness in the brain starts to settle just by looking down instead of looking forward and out at the world. We come into the body.